Ladies, gentlemen, and those beyond the binary, I am Iron Chess, and this is week 5 of the Road to 1000 ELO series. If you haven't caught this series before, here are the rules. I trained for a full week. This week I've trained openings and middle games, before playing 5 games at the end, analysing the best or arguably worst one with you guys at home. So not much else to it though, let's get into the first game. Hello, welcome to game 5 of this week. This was the best one by far. It had about double the moves of any of the other games that I played this week. There were some pretty crazy ones this week, I'll tell you about them at the end, but this was the best one for me. And it's actually with black this time, and we open up with knight f3 from my opponent. Knight f3, it's weird. This happened in week 1 as well. I always expect just a normal pawn push, but knight f3 has happened twice now, and it's starting to get to me. I play Owen's defense, and he now, of course, starts climbing into the middle with e4. He builds up a strong center. Now, at this point, I actually didn't know this variation, simply because I don't know the variation where you open with knight f3. However, I do know this variation, because usually players start off with like e4, knight f3, and then they build the center, especially as black. With the Owen's defense, you don't really build into the center. You more go for this kind of fianchetto bishop playing further away from the white center. So I did know this opening, which is where you pin the knight. Now we're in a little more unknown territory, but there's a reason. It's because it's not actually a good move for white. White, you just block. It's not really. It's a bit of an empty threat from white. It's just, I attack queen. Sure, I'm just gonna defend it. You know, there was a bit of an empty threat, and he does this, and I play the correct move, which is just takes, which already is pretty bad for white, because it gives us this kind of like bad structure, but also it's your bishop's still hanging. Luckily for my opponent, I'm stupid and I miss it. I thought that this also kind of was like an intermezzo move, I think it's called, where you kind of like you make moves in between while still having this kind of advantage. What I kind of just completely forgot is that this is really a baseless threat, because it's an equal trade-off, and also it develops white's queen unless they play here, but that's a pretty bad move. So this was pretty poor from me. Luckily, we're all a bit stupid here, and he takes my pawn for an unequal trade. Thank you. And already I'm 4.2 up. And you're probably thinking, this game couldn't get a little weird. And actually, it doesn't get weird for a while. I actually played pretty decent, but it gets a little scary near the end. Knight moves back, attacking my bishop, and I move it back to the square where it started on, b7. He pushed his pawn, didn't really see the reason, as I try and take control of the center with d5. He attacks back, and wasn't the best move, but I just thought, you know, let's just bombard the center. Takes, and I'm actually feeling pretty great in this position. I'm 3 points of material up. I've got 2 strong pawns decently placed in the center. You know, his structure isn't looking great. His structure isn't looking great, but I'd say probably his biggest threat in the position is this kind of like 3 connected pawns that could maybe cause me trouble later on in the game. But apart from that, I was really happy with how I'd done out of the opening. Queen moves into the middle, kind of pinning my pawn. I castle, you know, and maybe, you know, if the knight moves, you know, say, you know, the knight moves at any point, you know, moving away, you know, my rook can kind of start kind of looking towards these 3 pawns a little bit. He castles as well, which I thought was a little odd. I personally maybe would have gone here or developed the bishop some point and then castled the other way, just because it looked a lot more safer. This was a bit weird, you know, there's a lot of, you know, free area for me to kind of roam around in there, so it was a little bit of an odd move. I developed my knight. His knight jumps into the middle, which was actually a pretty good move. The issue is that I can't take, because, well, that. So it's actually a pretty good move from white. I developed my queen, so the pin is no longer there. and he gallops into the middle. And here we have the main threat of the game, which could have gone really wrong. I play here, and as you can tell, eval bar shoots down to 0.9. Why? It's because, and I would have never found this in a million years, you want to play here, which is insane. Apparently it's not even the best move, but it's kind of the point-ish of the move. If I take, it's mate in 5. And let me tell you, if he had taken that, I would have taken that. And it's the same thing if you take with the knight. I would have fell for this any day of the week if he had played this. Why? You get queen takes check. If I move here, it's just mate in 1, but it's game over. And so, you know, the logical idea would be to move into the corner. Corner's where the king's most safe, but not in this position. Check here, check, check. And if you move here again, it's just mate in 1. So you can't do that. You move back to the corner, and surely there's nothing more, right? You sack your queen. And yeah, it's just your classic smothered mate. And that would have been game over for me. I was shocked when I saw this come up. I was so shocked when I saw this on game review. I mean, at the what, 700 level, we're not finding it, but my goodness, that is a disgusting move. He moves his queen here, and I told you this on week 1, I'm afraid of women, so we easily trade this one off. I move my pawn forward, and my advantage actually goes down to like 2.7. I've been winning this entire game, and I was a little, you know, on game review I was like, oh, don't fumble this again. But luckily for me, he does this. I move my bishop back. He moves his knight forward, and I was really happy with what I found here, because usually, you know, I maybe start fumbling here, but I actually found a really nice set of moves. Takes, check, check here, to move away from the knight here, and king here. Because if I'd gone any of that wrong, oh, sorry, let's go back, no spoilers. If I had gone anything wrong from this point, like, say if I just moved my rook out the way, bishop gets taken, the bishop was undefended. So the fact that I actually found a way to trade off, check, and then get the king there, I was really happy with that. I was really, really happy with that. Pawn moves forward, and I pressure this pawn. I've got a lot of people looking at it, and it's kind of like, if I can get this off the board, then I've got the pass pawn here. So this was, you know, definitely an objective for me to get it off the board. He moves here, and instantly I just go for the trade. He plays a knight intermezzo move of actually taking my pawn, which I thought was a really nice move. But I move my knight here. I move my knight here. He checks me, and I started to get a little scared because, you know, he's 2 away. He's 2 away. I move my king up here, which apparently, I think my advantage goes from like 5.8 to like 4. So it wasn't the best move. Apparently, I just needed to, I don't know, stand in front of it probably. Yeah, just stand in front of it. But you know what? We're still winning. Doesn't matter. He attacks my rook, and I'm like, great, but it's undefended now. So I take it, and White doesn't have a lot in this position. His rook's still in the corner. His bishop's undeveloped. His knight is kind of in nowhere, and it's a bit of a struggle to get out. Both of these are covered by this. Can't go here. Can't go here. He's in a really tough position to keep this knight safe. He moves it here, and technically it is defended by this for a nice little X-ray defense. So what if I just get rid of the X-ray defense? And again, his knight, it's stuck in the corner. It's a bit awkward. And I find this, check. White had only one move, which could have kept him even mildly in this, I believe, which is this. Why, and you're going to see why, is because any other move, if he plays this, check, he can move like on it here, and I'm going to take his rook. If he moves, he can't move here. If he moves here, check. Technically, he's going to take my knight with it, but I've taken his rook. And again, I believe this is what he played. He plays this. And once again, check, take the rook. And sure, I've sacked the knight for it, but the end of the day, his rook was his main threat. It was going to be the thing that could maybe potentially save these 2 pawns, but he's lost it, and we're in a nice position. He takes my pawn, which was the pass pawn, but I'm not too unhappy about that because I'm just going to gobble up these 2 pawns and get these guys running. So I wasn't too unhappy about that. He plays here attacking my rook, and again, I found these really nice ideas. X-ray attack. The knight is now pinned, and next move, king moves out the way, and I take. And at this point, I'm just gonna get this pawn, keep this king locked up here, and it's gonna be a bad day for white. I move to the end so that he literally cannot get to me because his own pawn blocks him, which is quite sad. He moves in, grabs my pawn. This point, I was actually really worried about stalemating because I thought, you've got this, your pawn's going to move forward, and I'm actually blocking his way to escape. So I was very happy at this point that I found that could have been a pretty worrying stalemate. So I simply move my king, my guy here. He gets out, but I'm just going to take his pawn here, and then this is pretty much game over. I make 2 queens. Just felt a little disrespectful today. Checkmate. It's not actually checkmate. He resigned, which I just thought was a bit harsh. Throughout the entire time that we I think once we got to probably here, he kept spamming me with draw requests, which I thought was just quite funny. And actually, I think by draw 7, it said that I could actually remove draw requests, but I just wanted to see how many times he'd do it. But yeah, resign, and I take 4 wins this week. Back-to-back 4 wins. 8 wins, 2 losses. I haven't took a single draw, by the way. I've been here for 5 weeks, not 1 draw. Not 1. I wouldn't mind a draw any time now, because this is kind of freaky if you look at my stats. It's just win or lose. I feel like I'm Leicester in the Championship last season. It's just win or lose. We're losing quite a lot now these days, but we don't talk about that. But a great game, a really good game for me, and the other games were just weird. Let me take you for a couple of them. First game, I played a really nice Vienna game. Probably the best game I played so far. I wanted to do more around this though, because this was Owen's defense. And I haven't had a lot with the Owens defense. I've had a couple really nice Vienna games, but this is probably the best. I actually have a better win percentage with black, but this was probably the best way to represent the Owens defense with black. So I wanted to show that. But yeah, no, first game I think it was 25 moves, and I just tore him down. Really nice game. I had one game where I blundered a rook in 5 moves. I ended up winning that game 6 moves later. I think it was kind of, he was, I think maybe he was just a bit of a one-trick pony, because he got my rook and then gobbled up one of my pawns, but while he was doing that, I developed both of my bishops and my queen, and I just had a barraging attack, and he completely missed it, and I ended up winning 2 moves later. We take it. My loss this week, was Vienna game. I was playing decent. I had an advantage of 0.8 at one point out of the opening, and then I just blundered 2 moves and it was over. And so, again, middle game troubles, need to work on it a little bit. But overall, really good week again. Really good week. Our reload's up to 780, I think. I don't actually know. I think it's up to something like 760. I mean, somewhere from 760 to 780. It's up there again, which again is insane. We're not supposed to be here this quick. There was supposed to be a whole depression arc of I can't do it, and then we come back. But no, we keep winning, which is not what I expected. But hey, we'll take it. 4 wins from 5. Great week, and I won't see you next week. College sucks. I've got college mocks coming up, so I probably won't upload for the next 2 weeks. Just want to lock in, get some good grades, come out. And then there's pretty much no major exams. There's still some, but not to the point where I'd stop uploading. So, probably next 2 and a bit weeks I won't upload. And then I'll just be right back to it. It's even Easter holidays after that point, so yeah, dubs. Good week. See you next time.